What is up, all you Doki Doki type fans? It's the man behind the editing software, Talonflames, and I am bringing you guys the next The Flying Bird video. In fact, not only am I bringing you this one, but if you come by tomorrow for PGL, you will see me yet again, as I am filling in for Bird this week. Bird has gotten caught up with some actual, real-life stuff, because Bird has an actual life. So me being the basement dweller I am, decided I would be able to take over for Bird this week. I'm going to quickly go over Bird's team, just the rough sets. As I'm not Bird, I don't know fully what Bird intended to do with these sets. Basically, Bird brought a toxic Gyarados that was offensive invested, but seemed like a defensive set with Stone Edge, Waterfall, Taunt, and Toxic. He brought a Scarf Tyranitar as well, which had Stone Edge, Crunch, Earthquake, and Pursuit. He had a weakness policy Tyranitar, Dragonite with Defog, Extreme Speed, Earthquake, and Roost. Mega Altaria was Body Slam, Earthquake, Dragon Dance, and Roost. So a lot of setup mons with Roost, as you can see. He does have Liquidation Barbaracle with Liquidation, Shell Smash, Stone Edge, and Earthquake. And finally, he has a sub Gear Grind Magnet Ice Shift Gear Kling Clang. I forgot what that mod was called for a second, because I always associate it with Randy now. So, my opponent, or Bird's opponent's roster, is Thundy Eye, Terrakion, Tapu Lele, Drapion, Mega Alakazam, and the Donphan. So, Bird being the best player he is, he knows this tactic. Sometimes you just have to lead off with your best mon. And Bird being the player that he is, having the best mon in format, it's the only mon that can counter Tapu Koko, Leno T, and Celesteela without leaving a scratch. It is PDonnieson, the Gyarados. The Gyarados, because it's broken. So, he leads off with this, but his opponent, of course, being the Wi-Fi player he is, decides to counter him perfectly and lead off with a Thundy Eye instead of a potential Rocker. So, Bird hard swaps here into Tyranitar, of course, as Tyranitar versus any sane hit such as the Thunderbolt or Volt Switch versus the Gyarados, the Thundy Eye could go for. Tyranitar would, of course, be tanking that. And anything like a Thunder Wave, for example, Tyranitar wouldn't have to worry about, as Tyranitar is Dark type and is immune to Prankster. Now, Bird ends up clicking Earthquake here. I'm sure he's predicting a switch. However, because of the fact that Thundy Eye stayed in and clicked Focus Blast, probably assuming that it wasn't a Scarf Tyranitar, this ends up going really bad for Bird, as now he just sacked Tyranitar for no reason. 6-foot hacks, of course, going 6 foot down. Next up, Bird brings in Cell Plays his Dragonite. And because of his spread this week, of course, multi-scale being a huge factor in Bird's success, he ends up popping the weakness policy and still having a ton of HP to spare, of course. So what does Bird do? He clicks himself a nice meaty Roost right here, being able to get himself up to pretty much full HP, which allows him to just click Extreme Speed pretty freely versus the Thunderous Eye. And is pretty solid positioning for Bird, of course, as Bird, without the sand damage, is at full HP, of course, and that only takes off around, I think, 12 HP. So Bird clicks Extreme Speeder here, of course, and it is sadly not enough, because Thundy Eye chews through this and is able to click another Hidden Power Ice. And luckily for his opponent, of course, he ends up actually being able to get off a kill, which ends up really being unfortunate. However, at the very least, the Thundy Eye does go down here, so it's no longer able to cause mayhem, as the E-Speed and the sand damage were enough to take it out. So next up, his opponent brings in the Drapion here, aka Scorpio, as Bird brings in a potential win con, Aeron 242, 4 and 2, who is soon to be Aeron 242 and beyond. So Bird has to hard swap out of Drapion, of course, as he wants to preserve a potential win con. Also, it was a really solid play as Bird did avoid a taunt here, which would have ended up being really unfortunate if Bird got taunted on a Shell Smash turn. And he goes into Randy here, as Randy is a pretty expendable mon, also able to chew through a lot of Drapion hits. And sadly though, Randy does lose his Key Berry here, which is extremely unfortunate. However, it's fine as Randy is able to get off a nice Gear Grind, getting off some pretty solid chip damage versus the Drapion. And with that also being Life Orb mon, it's going to end up continuously taking some nice damage. Bird is sadly not going to be able to take an Earthquake here with Randy, which is extremely unfortunate, as Randy has to go down before it can cause mayhem versus something like the Lele. So that puts Bird in a really scary position for later on, as Bird has now lost his best Lele check besides potential Sash Barbaracle. So next up, Bird brings in Danica here, as Danica is broken, and he decides to Mega Evolve, of course, which is going to be really unfortunate, as being a Fairy type, it's going to be really hard to take any sort of poison attacks. However, Bird was smart and thought about this, as Bird is really solid with calking and pretty much prepared for this scenario, and was able to shoot through with a Poison Jab with his Mega Altaria, even from a Life Orb Drapion, which is actually really insane, to be honest. But it does allow Bird, of course, to get off a Dragon Dance, which is pretty good, to be honest. So now that he's able to outspeed the Drapion, he's able to get off a pretty free Body Slam here, and prove that Mega Altaria is such a broken mon. Right up there alongside with Gyarados, as the best, well, not the best mon, but it's still a really solid mon in format. So Mega Altaria, of course, being at +1 speed, would be able to sweep through the rest of Austin's team had it not been for the fact that this is actually a Scarf Tapu Lele. So that does, of course, OHKO or take out the Mega Altaria at this point. So Daniki does go down, which is really unfortunate. However, Bird does still have myself in the back. He's able to hopefully get my kill count up, as we are a Sash Barbarical this week, and it's a pretty free Shell Smash, as no matter what this Lele went for, whether it was Psychic or Focus Blast or whatever, it's Scarfed, of course, or has to go for Moon Blast. No matter what it went for, we would have been able to live a hit guaranteed. And that Shell Smash does put us at a point where we can actually outspeed the Scarf Tapu Lele. And not only that, but we were able to get off a really nice hit, as we are +2 physical attack. The Moon Blast did bring us to -1 special attack, so therefore the Shell Smash brought us to +1. But it doesn't really matter, as this is a fully physical Barbarical this week. So the Liquidation does end up taking out Tapu Lele here, which is really nice. And Bird would have been able to sweep myself had he brought some hazards to this game. Sadly though, he did not, and that is not good, as he now has to sack Barbarical here, because there's not really any other mon that he'd be able to set up versus, as the Tracheon and the Mega Alakazam would both be able to take him out at this point. And he does have to sack, of course, breaking Donphan's sturdy, but it's not enough, as Donphan is able to take him out. So it's really unfortunate, and Bird just has one mon left, and it's his most broken mon. However, he did not bring the set that could have won him this week. He decides to bring in PDonnieson, of course, and had he brought a Dragon Dance Gyarados, he could have won. And it's really heartbreaking for PDonnieson. You know, it's his birthday week, and he can't even get a Dragon Dance sweep. It's all he fucking asks for his birthday, and he can't get it because he's not a Dragon Dance spread this week. And as you can see here, Austin barely lives the regular invested waterfall, and had he been a +1, he would have not only outsped this Z Terrakion, but he would have been able to outspeed the Mega Alakazam. Actually, he probably wouldn't have outsped the Mega Alakazam, but he would have been able to take a hit from Mega Alakazam most likely, as the train is now gone, unless that was like an HP electric Mega Alakazam. And even then, I'm sure he would have probably taken a hit, to be honest. But being up to +1 would have taken out the Terrakion, would have taken out the Zam, and the Donphan wouldn't have been able to have a hit. And most likely, unless that Zam was prepped for +1 +1 Gyarados, that would have been a win. And it's really unfortunate just to see how Gyarados couldn't have won with a Dragon Dance sweep, as I know that would have meant a lot to Bird, as Bird loves PDonnieson very much so. He always loves to ask how PDonnieson is doing, not where is PDonnieson or who PDonnieson is. And just seeing how he's not for good now because he couldn't get the Dragon Dance sweep on his birth week. So make sure to leave a like, as it's one prayer for PDonnieson, and make sure to wish PDonnieson a belated happy birthday if you didn't wish him an actual happy birthday. And that's gonna be all. We will see you guys in the next Flying Bird video. See you guys later.